Hey everyone, it's Greg, and I'm going to impart a little bit of news before we dive into this episode, as I usually do. You may hear the noises of children playing in the background, which seems quite fitting because, hey, summer vacation, and also this episode features kids, so look forward to that. Any rate, news. You may notice that we're going to have a little bit of downtime as of recording. This recording comes at you folks for, July 31st. And we got a little bit of site maintenance going on until, tomorrow being August 1st. So if you're listening to this like hot off the presses, look forward to some new changes coming to the site. And for those of you listening to this episode much later, enjoy those new changes. Yeah, that's the best I got. Tina Ola has hit us with a new crowdfunding chronicles focusing on Arcadia Fallen, which has already been funded, but it's a really rad-looking roleplay visual novel that's, kind of steeped in the Scandinavian lore, which, as I've mentioned in past episodes, is a hit for me. I really, really do enjoy it, so this is pretty cool. You can, go through this whole neat kind of Scandinavian world and flirt with wizards and practice your alchemy, and it looks really great. It's got a really cool style about it. Like, this art style is crisp, so yeah, check that one out. Just after the last episode went live, Joe Chop put up his review of Operentia the Stolen Sun, which is a really lovely looking traditional RPG that's got a lot of nice style to it, and just seems to be overall a really solid dungeon crawl if you're into it, with a lot of fun and replay value according to Joe. So go check out his thoughts on that and see what Zen Studios has to offer us. Alternatively, following less favorably is Bob Richardson's review of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, which doesn't quite follow as well in its predecessor's footsteps. Yeah, just kind of falls flat. Like, all the he puts in his pros, all it's really got going for it is the retro feel, and otherwise it's just a clunky, rough experience otherwise. So give it a look. It might be for you. I mean, like he says, there's some diehard fans that this could be a hit for, but maybe that's not you. It certainly isn't me, but I do like the vibe of it. It looks pretty cool. Nathan Lee took a chance with a really, what I thought was a promising looking title, Arc of Alchemist, but he did not come off it very well. It did not do well in Nathan's eyes. Maybe it might be for other people, but just aesthetically, gameplay wise, it seems like a really flat experience, and all it really has going for it is its base building. But check out his review. I don't know. I think that I like the look of it myself, but the gameplay really doesn't sound like it's going to grab me. So anyways, check out that review. And then finally, we have Neil Chandran's preview of Monster Crown, which is, it looks like a really cool, darker twist on the whole Pokemon kind of vibe. It seems to shake up the formula in a nice way and hit you with a nicer, grim, dark story, which may or may not be for everybody. And then with all those game reviews done, we have a music review that comes to us from Mike Salbato, our fearless leader, who's been working so hard on this new kind of site move over, along with a few select others on the team. He reviewed for us Parallelus, which is just a fantastic reimagination of Chrono Cross's music. There's so much of these mixes out there, I won't lie, but just this music sounds lovely. So if you haven't had enough of Chrono music, then here is yet another album for you with some beautiful tracks on it to take your time and get into. And it also has a vinyl that looks slick, so, check that out. Anyways, there are babies crying outside, so it's probably time to move this episode along and get us into 194 of Random Encounter. Hello, listeners. It is bright and early, at least where I am. Well, not even that early anymore. We started earlier, but, getting stuff together. Today, we are recording with a bunch of great guests. So, as usual, I'm joined by my awesome co-host, Jono Logan.
Hello, everyone.
And we have returning to the podcast once again, John Tucker.
Hey, everybody. Yep.
Also, it's been a while since you've heard him, but Peter Triezenberg's here too.
Hello, everybody. It is not bright and early where I am. It's dark and rainy.
Oh, no.
That's less than ideal, I suppose. And you keep hearing her chime in, but we are joined by our special guest kid correspondent, Gwen.
Or girls, whoever's listening to this. Ladies and gentlemen. Is that gentlemen? Gentlemen. That's what I should say. Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we got Gwen here, because we're going to talk about a couple games that she's played. First and foremost, the expansion for...
Pokemon Sword and Shield!
Yeah, that came out for, or not, how long ago was that now? A couple months now. It's been out, and Peter Triezenberg was playing it. I think Alana was our reviewer on it. We had a few people into it. So, yeah, we wanted to get Gwen on to get her point of view on that, and chit-chat about how great Cub Fu is and such. So, Peter, yeah, I guess we'll get you to just kind of take it away, and we'll go from there.
Okay, yeah.
What's it bringing?
Yeah, the Isle of Armor was a really, really fun DLC to start off the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. I know a lot of people were looking forward to this one. I think it did not disappoint.
Yeah, same. I really liked it. Like, they kind of brought back some more, like, Gary-like rivals with Avery and Clara.
Yeah, they were both really fun. Which one are you playing, Gwen?
Oh, I played Sword. So Clara was my rival. And my Zacian easily got all of her Pokemon. Due to leveling up my Zacian to level 100 EXP candies, which are overpowered. And I like them, that they run them in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, they make it a lot easier to make your team super strong, yeah.
Playing on Shield, Peter?
I'm actually playing on Sword, too, so I also have Clara. Okay. And I like her a lot. She's super funny.
Yeah. And, like, my Cinderace also Pyro-Balled a lot, and it easily defeated her, too. Due to it also being level 100.
Yeah, I actually, I tried to restart, to make a brand new team from scratch, because I wanted to make it a little harder for myself. So I wound up catching a whole bunch of Pokemon on the island, and raising them from there. So that was interesting.
Yeah. I'm still looking for my Zeraora. I think that's what it's called, but it's like that fox Pokemon, which is like a dark type, and I really like how it looks, and I just really want it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I once came in contact with it, but I misclicked with my Haxorus and had KO'd it with my Haxorus.
Oh, no, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I still really want one.
Happens to the best of us. We always have like a capture Pokemon we need around, and it doesn't always work out.
It's heartbreaking, but it has to happen.
Well, exactly. And then you gotta go on the hunt again, I guess, which is half of the thrill. What's, I guess, which Pokemon were you two most excited about to see, like, added to the Isle of Armor, to the game?
I know. So I was really excited for Zeraora and all the Lycanroc forms and Rockruff.
I was also very excited for the Lycanrocs. I was able to find a Dusk form one.
What? Dusk form?
Yeah, I found it in a raid battle, so now he's on my team.
That's awesome, yeah, because Gwen, you started, I guess, your first Pokemon that you really played by yourself, and you actually just beat it while we were on vacation, was Pokemon Moon.
Oh, yeah. But I'm still at the post-game, just trying to get all the Tapus.
Right. But yeah, you're most familiar with a lot of those ones.
Yeah.
No, the Lycanroc ones are really fun. I was really excited to see Cub Fu, the new Pokemon. We'll be talking about him, I'm guessing.
Yeah, like how does Cub Fu shape up, and which forms did you take?
Oh, I took the dark type form because, like, a fighting dark is, like, a cool combination. And then I remember that there's a lot of other fighting darks.
Yeah, I also went the fighting dark route, so we're on the same page with this one, it seems.
Yeah.
Now, what does Cub Fu bring to the table that's, I guess, maybe possibly different from other fighting dark types?
Well, when it's a fighting dark type, it's a Urshifu. And it's a single strike form, and it has one nice, good, strong move, which is its signature move. And also, it has a Gigantamax form, which I don't have yet, because I just need to find one more Max Mushroom. I just can't find it. Hop, help me!
Hunting for the mushrooms is really annoying. You have to, keep doing raids until they spawn.
And that's for, the Max Super, or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need 3 of them to make, one bowl of Max Soup.
Yeah.
Hunting for those can be a little frustrating when you're trying to find them. Urshifu also has a Rapid Strike?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Rapid Strike form, which is the water fighting type.
Yep, I did not. And you can only pick one once you go into the tower. For one, the other is locked off for you, so you got to choose wisely.
Yeah, but my dad also played it, and he actually chose the Rapid Strike, and there's actually a side duck in it. And on the first level, so he got one hit KO by a confusion from that side duck.
Oh no!
Oh, frustrating.
Well, that's pretty rough. Although so Psyduck's finally back?
Yeah. They brought back Psyduck.
Yes. Now, all those extra Pokemon, can you only have them on the the Isle of Armor rather, or can you bring them back over to your Sword and Shield once the DLC's there?
Yeah, they're added to the roster permanently. You can.
Oh, good. Because I know there's certain features that only exist on Isle of Armor.
Oh yeah, where Pokemon actually follow you again. Woo! It's so cool that Pokemon follow you. Right now I have my Glaceon following me because Glaceon is adorable and it's my favorite evolution.
Oh, good choice.
What do you have following you around, Peter?
I actually have a green Espeon.
You got a shiny Espeon! What?
Yep, I have a shiny Espeon. I'll send a picture to the group chat.
Nice. Yeah, we need to figure out how to get some of your Pokemon from Sun and Moon over to this, because she has a shiny Glaceon that someone traded her, so that'd be fun to have.
From Moon, because I don't have Sun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
But I also have a Solgaleo that will probably destroy everyone.
Are they allowed in now that they add those legendaries to the roster?
Not yet. They will in the Crown Tundra, which is out this winter.
Right.
No, I thought it was coming out this fall.
It might be in the fall. Yeah, later this year.
Either way.
And there's an Absol
Might get delayed.
in there, and I love Absol.
Absol is super cool.
Yeah.
For going back to Kubfu and Urshifu, do you get Kubfu right at the start of the DLC, or does it take a bit into the story of the DLC to get it? What brings you, I guess, to the Isle of Armor?
Okay, so you start by going there with the armor pass, and basically on the train station. So basically, you start by going on the train to a Corviknight stop, which I'm still confused why this awesome armored bird is a taxi. And then
They're very hardy, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they like to work. It's like dogs, right?
Yeah.
Dogs are very happy when they're working.
And then it flies you over to the Isle of Armor, which you start, and then you immediately see this lady. It's oh, complete this Pokedex for me. And it includes all the Galar Pokedex and the Isle of Armor Pokedex.
Classic Pokemon move.
And then Clara just comes and just oh wait, is that you? And it's just she just doesn't really want. She just says hi to you, and then she goes okay, I'm just gonna battle you. So she battles you, and you destroy her for your team because your teams are you could have leveled up to level 70, and her team is only level 60. You destroy her, and she's just okay, you can go explore, but just don't go to the dojo. So you can explore on the ocean where there's a huge whale lord, which is really cool to see a big whale lords in the overworld. And Sharpedos chase you. And then if you go to the dojo, Honey, which is apparently Mustard's wife. I'm pretty sure if I read that right.
Yeah, honey mustard. That's hilarious.
Oh, I did not notice that. Honey Mustard. Oh, wow.
The pun game is strong.
And then she's just like, "Oh, are you the new student?" And then you just, then I'm pretty sure you say yes. It's been a long time since I started this because.
Yeah, you basically kind of wind up corralled in as the new student to the dojo, and then you have to do a couple little side quests involving some fast slowpoke.
Oh yeah, the fast slowpoke who stole Clara's uniform. So basically, first things first, when you get into dojo, everyone kind of introduces themselves, and then you beat Mustard. Even though he wasn't going easy on you, everyone's like, "Oh my god, you beat Mustard!" And then Mustard gives you the uniform, and Clara's like, "Hey, why don't I get a uniform?" So Mustard, about to give Clara the uniform, the slowpoke just jump over, and then you get to see them, and it's like,
And then you also get to have your evolved slowpoke now too, right? With the new
Slowbro.
Yeah, the new Slowbro.
Apparently, you need to have 8 twigs, but like I was saying, and then they go off, and then Mustard's like, "Oh, I forgot. Did I release a fast slowpoke too early?" So everyone needs to go get the slowpoke, which have Clara's uniforms, and then you just cheat with a bike. And everyone's just running my way.
Yeah, you've got the advantage over everyone else in that nobody else thought to bring a bike.
Yeah. God! Aha! I'm a bike, fools!
Yeah. The one time you don't listen to Professor Oak.
It is always the time for this, old man.
Right? Now, which is funny, I saw some videos actually though of people who used a Slowpoke as their companion Pokemon, and it moves in slow motion pretty much.
Yeah, it's very much so.
It's a
Wait,
nice
what
touch.
happens if a Snom is their companion Pokemon? Because once I had a Snom and my camp, and then it took a bunch of minutes for it to actually get to me so I can pet it. So how
Probably
fast?
the same with Slowpoke.
Yeah. So
It's a funny gag.
Yeah. Probably one of my... Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, you can say it.
Oh, I was gonna say, one of my favorite YouTube guys did, he had his Dracovish, the fossil Pokemon, as his companion, and it kept getting stuck behind stuff, and then it would vanish and teleport behind him, and he's just like, ah! It would scare him every time.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
So the Watson of Pokemon.
Now, so then as I guess if the Slowpoke, I guess, or a slower Pokemon gets too far away, it would just zip towards you with the teleport kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did something similar in Let's Go, where if it got stuck on something, it would go back in its ball and zip over to you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the same. Let's go.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty cool. And then you get through the whole story. Not that we're going to spoil that for anybody, but did Isle of Armor bring some interesting story points? What are your opinions on that?
Well, mostly just kind of for you kind of growing and just trying to complete the dojo. You get through these 3 trials, and then you get Kubfu, which they say is the secret armor.
I see. But is it did you find the story was good, or is it just kind of more of the same?
I liked it.
You liked it? What about you, Peter?
I thought it was fun, yeah. I mean, it's, you get a little bit of, detail on Mustard was a former champion, and, Champion Leon trained at the Isle of Armor but never finished the trials.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because he's bad with directions and he got lost.
Right, that gag.
I'm pants with directions. He actually says that.
It's a bit weird that nobody acknowledges that you're the champion.
Yeah, they're just there's just random kid, and then you're just excuse me, I'm the champion, I'm gonna beat all of you.
Yeah, it's do you guys not have cable? Do you not this is a big thing in Galar?
Yeah, did you not go to Rose Stadium? Did you not know anything about the Darkest Day?
Yeah, I saved the world and beat your champion on live television.
And also, I got the legendary Pokemon. Listen to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Clara's just oh, you're a kid. Let's just battle. I'm probably gonna beat you.
Yeah, it's oh, honey, no.
Well, that's a weird thing for them to overlook, because it'd be interesting, or not interesting, but it would make sense for them to have just like a trigger for the event as to whether you went to the DLC before or after you became champion.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they want to they probably were working on this before the game was actually finished, I'm guessing, because it's pretty full featured. Like, it's a very well designed environment. It's very interconnected, and there's all these like little caves and forests you can explore. And so maybe they were intending you to like visit earlier. Like, if you buy the game now and you get the expansion pass, then you can go to the Isle of Armor whenever you want. But
maybe, yeah. Do you feel that possibly this was something, or features, like this goes into the bigger discussion of DLC and was it intended for the original release or not, kind of thing? Like the idea of having a companion Pokemon follow you and such like that. Where do you think these were features that were pulled out and then thrown into the DLC?
It could be. I can't really say with any certainty. I think that the design of the Isle of Armor makes it feel like they just had a little more time to polish it up. Because I mean, I liked the wild area in Sword and Shield, but it is a little kind of wide and barren at points. Whereas this feels a lot more like, more realistic. It's more fun to explore. Yeah, exactly. So it could be that they were working on this and just didn't have time to finish it, and we're like, okay, well, we'll release it later, instead of doing the whole second version thing or whatever.
Right, which is good, and this could be, do you feel this could be a better sign of things to come with future Switch installments? Because that's one thing we've talked about on the podcast and people have discussed before, that Sword and Shield is okay as a Pokemon game. It didn't really break a lot of bounds, but it has established a good foundation. So does Isle of Armor, and then possibly Crown Tundra, will that build on it to make a better Pokemon game the next installment?
Yeah, they could very well. It reminds me a lot of X and Y, honestly. In that X and Y, when it came out, was more of a proof of concept. Like, here's Pokemon on the 3DS. It's a Pokemon game. It's good. It's not great. But then the next one, Sun and Moon, was like, this is great. I love this.
Yeah, I really like it too.
Mm-hmm, yeah, Moon was one of my favorites.
So, yeah. So not Sword Coast. That's D&D. Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra might be that bridge to show fans that the next installment will be pushing those boundaries a bit more, and a bit more, I guess, full featured or new featured for a Pokemon game.
Yeah, when they do Gen 9 or Gen 4 remakes, please.
Yeah, I really want a Gen 4 remix because I want to see some Palkia, Garantina, and Dialga, and some Arceus.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. I love those. That would be really, really fun.
And I do not want them to never do it, because I don't want them to go okay, let's go Cyndaquil and let's go Chikorita, and I'm just why? I just want my Gen 4 remix!
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird for them to do that.
Just a little bit. I know, Jono, we've talked a bit about Pokemon. You haven't gotten into Sword and Shield, the latest ones. Is the DLC something that's attracting you to maybe getting into it now, or?
No, but this conversation is.
As per usual, we have passionate people who make people want to buy games.
Yeah, that's sort of our MO, as our fan mail attests. No, actually, again, I like Pokemon, but I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan in the world. For example, I haven't really played a game since, I think, Blue.
What?
Which was it was a few years ago, Gwen. Just a few. Yeah.
Long time ago.
Yeah, but on the other hand, having a Switch it makes playing games so much more accessible across the board. I prefer to play on the screen. I prefer to play on big screen. I just like consoles. Handhelds are great, but I prefer consoles. But the fact now that there's the flexibility to move back and forth between consoles and handheld, which is the traditional place where Pokemon games, belong, I think gives this game even more appeal than usual. And I think that they will be building on that, as you were saying, in the next title, because there's a lot of you could really put almost a different experience on handheld and on a console. And if you were to kind of I'm trying to figure out how to say this. If you were to offer a slightly different experience on both, even though it's technically the same game, you could really start playing with the idea of trading and things like that. Because you'd be out and about, you'd be interacting with people, and then you could just take them all back home.
Yeah, which it kind of does with the Switch. I mean, you have Nintendo Online, which can let you trade and stuff online. But, for example, like, we have Nintendo Online. Gwen's dad got it for her, so she's able to play with me if she's at her dad's and stuff like that. But some of her close friends who have Switches, their parents haven't footed the bill for that. So she doesn't have that option, but at least with the Switch being able to switch out and go on the go, she could go to their house and they can connect over local area network just by proximity, a la the old 3DS and stuff used to do, and they can still trade that way. So there is a bit of that functionality, but it would be neat if there was specific modes or something like that it came up while you were in handheld or something.
Yeah, well, talking about the features and the drawbacks of Nintendo Online could take up an entire podcast.
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
don't get me wrong, I like Nintendo Online because I am absolutely obsessed with Tetris 99, but
Yeah.
But I think that the system could be a little bit more developed in line with, shall we say, other video game companies who have pioneered the online space a little bit more than Nintendo has.
Is clunky.
It's a little clunky.
Yeah, I can acknowledge that. I mean, we have a group, a Nintendo Switch online account for RPG fans. So because you can have up to 8 people on a family plan, so it's only like $5 a year for all of us,
Yeah.
which is fun. It works out really well. But yeah, it's something where it's like I don't know if I would want to pay $35 for this every year.
Well, yeah, like I even tried trading with Joe Padilla one day when I was looking for something specific, and they were just like, "Oh, I have this Pokemon, we'll trade," and I trade them a Shedinja for it, which they were like, "Oh, cool, I love Shedinjas," and so that all worked out. But it was such a pain for us to connect, even though I had a code and they had a code. Like we kept kind of going back and forth and just wouldn't find each other, and it's just even with that, it's so hard to just find each other and play with each other. I don't know if I haven't done any raids with anybody yet, but I know, Peter, you did a few raids with some people on RPG Fam. Was it easy enough to connect? Has it gotten better?
It's finicky. I mean, you can get it to work, but the problem winds up being you can only get 4 people into a raid,
Yeah.
and sometimes when you're looking for a specific raid, the list doesn't refresh when you want it to.
Yeah.
There's no way to auto refresh it. It just sort of does it when it feels like it.
And that's what felt really weird when I was trying to find open raid groups or just looking for specific things, even just in the general stream of stuff.
And you can set a password to make sure only your friends get in, but you still have a 3-minute time limit, and it's just a little archaic.
Yeah, and if they can't see the raid, then they can't join anyway.
Exactly. So that's
if there's any way you can say just plug in a code and it will connect to whatever that code's connected to.
Yeah, and our editor in chief, Mike Salvato, we traded some Pokemon back when Sword and Shield came out, and yeah, just trying to connect, and it took us a while just to be able to find each other.
Yeah, it's a little silly, but so far Gwen and I have had success when we've battled, and we need to have a rematch now that I finally have Zamazenta.
Yeah, because the first time I destroyed him with my fast team.
Yeah, her Zacian was just too fast for everything. It just messed everything up. We did another one without Zacian. It was a bit more of a level playing field, but yeah, her Zacian's pretty big. But I finally did finish the game and have Zamazenta now, so we'll see how that rematch goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there any other final thoughts that either of you have on Isle of Armor?
Oh, yeah. So you actually get a Squirtle and a Bulbasaur.
Right, which I'm
But-
excited for.
Yeah. But that was one of my hardest decisions because I always choose a fire type.
Oh yeah, right.
But I guess you already got the Charmander from Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had to give you the other ones. Yeah, no, I hear it. Well, it was funny for me because a while back, I think during March or whatever, they had a event where you could catch War Turtle and Ivysaur in raid battles. So I already had a Venusaur and a Blastoise. But they couldn't G-Max, so I wound up, instead of, I got the Bulbasaur, I think, but then I just went around grinding mushrooms so I could give them soup.
Yeah, no kidding. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm sad I missed that. But there was a lot going on in March.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny, I barely remember March. Did anything happen?
It's all kind of a blur, man. I think I made a lot of bread.
Yeah, that was the thing. I ate too much bread and the month just vanished.
I think I just thought of 2 crazy challenges in the Hall of Armor. So, like, those challenges is, like, if you wait and you don't feed your starter the max soup and you get cub foo and evolve it into Urshifu, then feed the Urshifu soup and you don't have the honey, can that happen?
I don't know, actually. I think it can.
And also,
if I get the DLC, I'll remind me and I'll just see if I can get it a try, because I haven't got the DLC yet, but I would like to.
And also I have another one which, like, if this one is, like, a different one, and I'm not sure if you want to do it, but what happens if you put a Everstone on Cub Fu and then read the scroll? You don't get it to evolve.
That's a good question. I don't know if that'll work, because it's like a cutscene that triggers, right? So maybe it'll just evolve anyway? Or, yeah, that's a good question.
Or it won't switch the trigger to start the cutscene?
Yeah, maybe it'll just be like, hey, your Cub Fu's holding an Everstone. Get rid of that.
Yeah, I wonder.
And what happens if you release your Cub Fu, if you can?
Well, then you can't finish the DLC. I've seen people do that, because on Pokemon Home, the trading app, the mobile one,
yeah,
people, Cub Fu and Urshifu are, like, the top requested Pokemon right now, because I guess if people don't own the DLC, but they still want the Pokemon. So there are people who are just trading their Cub Fu the second they get it. And I'm just like, you monsters.
Or at least hope that they've beaten the DLC. But that's interesting. It locks you out, so you'd have to trade back for one.
Yeah, and you only
very short-sighted.
And you only get one per playthrough. So in order to get another one, you'd have to restart, like, your entire game.
Oof.
Oh, you have a 100, like, level 100 Rillaboom? Well, if you release your Cub Fu, you can't get any other ones. You need to restart.
Yep, well, too bad.
Get a Grookey again. And what? Your Rillaboom was a shiny? Well, good luck getting another one.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, how do you get? Yeah, I wonder how you get shiny starters. I guess it would only be through, like, special raid events and such.
Or breeding.
Yeah,
right,
breeding
yes,
is...
That's right.
The Masuda method, which is, like, I'm pretty sure is the only method. Like, I'm not sure what Masuda method even is.
It's, if you have a Pokemon from another country, like Japan or France or whatever, it cuts the odds of hatching a shiny by, like, half. So I have a French Ditto.
French Ditto.
His name is Metamorph. And he that works for Masuda method. Yeah, it makes it a little easier. It's still tedious. It's like a 1 in 500 chance down from a 1 in 4,000 chance.
Oh, good. Is that all?
Is that all? Right. Well, it's an improvement.
A little bit. Tuker, do you play Pokemon Sword or Shield? Did you jump in on that, or you just been?
Oh yeah.
Crossing?
I've been a Pokemon fan since the beginning, and so I was in on Sword and Shield. My wife Amy played Sword, and I played Shield.
That's true. I do remember that journey.
Finished through the end of that, but I didn't get the DLC, and you guys have really been kind of making me want it. So
They're selling you on it. That's right, because I now remember you started trying to do a Sword Nuzlocke, didn't you? And then you backed out.
Yeah. Just basically, it's not even that it wasn't. It's not even that it was too hard. It's just that at some point I was like, you know what I really like in these games is catching them all. And I'm not doing that in this, right? So I'm not having fun. And that's what it's really about, right? It's having fun. So, so I gave up on my Nuzlocke run and just was like, all right, I'm catching everything.
Just having a good time.
Not even because you wanted to bring your dead Pokemon back.
Right, exactly. It just was more fun to catch everything than to catch one thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, but Sword and Shield was actually my favorite, like first favorite game so far because I really like all the Pokemon. I like the stadium vibes. I liked the music, and then like also Toby Fox did some music in the Battle Tower, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just really like the starters because it's my favorite starter group so far.
Yeah, they're adorable. I'm a big fan of all three of them. I started. Which one did you start with, Gwen? I had Scorbunny.
I had Scorbunny too because I always choose fire types. That's why I was so torn on like choosing a Squirtle or a Bulbasaur. I'm just like, which one?
Right.
And then I ended up picking Bulbasaur because I had a bigger relationship with it because in my Let's Go Eevee I had a Bulbasaur.
I see. Nice.
I hope they keep this stadium the way they're doing them now moving forward, like making it such an event. I think it's really cool. As much as they switch things up in Sun and Moon, but I think this is like an ideal way to go.
It just makes a lot of sense. Sorry, I was saying it just makes a lot of sense, for this world where gym battles are such a big thing. Yeah, of course this would be like a big sporting event type thing, That just makes sense.
What were you saying, Gwen?
Yeah, but like, it'll be really interesting if one Pokemon game you don't have any rivals, and you're just like, oh, I don't have any rivals? What? And you end up battling your mother, and you're just like, what the heck?
Your
That's my
mom's your
first
rival?
battle.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
The final battle is your mom. I'm into it.
That is life, really.
But we also had, like I said, we brought Tucker in today. The other game we wanted to talk about is another one that Gwen just got for her birthday, because Gwen just hit the big 1-0.
Yay!
And
Congrats.
Yeah, right?
Thank
And
you.
her dad got her Minecraft Dungeons. Yeah, and so John did our review of Minecraft Dungeons, which just went live just this past week, didn't it?
Yep.
And yeah, so John, how was your experience with that? Because you were finding good things with it, despite a few little drawbacks. But
Yeah. I think it's a game that I kind of came into as a fan of action RPGs more than of being a fan of Minecraft specifically. And I thought, maybe this will be okay. It's kind of cheap and whatever. But I actually ended up having a lot of fun with it. It's not perfect, like you say. I don't like that as you increase equipment. If you want to try out a new piece of gear, you basically have to destroy your old piece of gear. I would love to have just been able to try something out and see how it goes, and then be like, no, you know what? I liked my old thing better. But there's no going back really in this game.
Wait, what?
Well, because you're when you the big thing with all the gear is enchantments, right? So you pick up a sword and it has, it does whatever damage it does, but then on top of that, it has the enchantments that you can put points into. And so, say you put some points into that new sword that you found, and you're working with that, and then later on you find a pair of sickles, and they seem really cool and they move really fast, and so you think, I'm going to try these out, but you can't put any enchantment points into them until you destroy the sword that you have been using to get back the enchantment points that you put into the sword.
you have like a finite enchantment points.
Yeah,
allotment?
you get one per level, and then you put them into your gear, and then when you I'm trying to remember the salvage. That's the word they use for it. When you salvage a piece of gear, it destroys it and it gives you back any enchantment points that you had put into it. So that's kind of a bummer.
It's not as versatile.
What's that?
Yeah, it's not as versatile as like what it's based on, like Torchlight and Diablo and such,
Right.
where you can have a horde of inventory and it turns you all into hoarders. But,
Yeah.
So this one, you just you're one and done if you want to try something out and get something a bit more powerful.
Yep. But a nice thing is,
because like in Minecraft Dungeons, I just like when I get a new thing, I just test it out without any enchantments, and then if I like it, I'm just like, okay, but probably like when I use it, I leveled up, so I can use my level up points if I want.
And that's true. I guess you could split the difference, but if you want to make it, as Tucker's saying, if you want to make it the most powerful weapon you have, then you would want to salvage the old one and put the new points into that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
so it's either you're splitting your power or.
But a nice thing about, you mentioned, kind of loot hoarding and things like that. A nice thing is that as soon as you pick something up, or as soon as a piece of gear falls, you can pick it up and say, this isn't for me, and salvage it right then and get the money for it, instead of, like having to fill up your inventory and then go back to town. And,
That's good.
Yeah.
It's one thing, a quality of life thing that was nice in Torchlight. Sending you
Right.
back to town to do the sales for you, so this cuts out the middle person.
Yeah. And one other thing that I really like in Minecraft Dungeons is how the different pieces of gear that you get really change how you play the game. If you, like, for example, you get a melee weapon, a ranged weapon, and a piece of armor. And one of the pieces of armor that you can get will summon a pet bat that always flies around and attacks things. That's pretty cool, right?
My dad really likes that armor, and he got a bat, and he named Batney.
It's tough, like, later on, you're like, oh, well, I found this other armor that does this other thing, but I have to give up my bat. But you also get, I can't remember, artifacts, they call them. You have three artifact slots, and they range wildly. Like, I have one that's a totem that when you use it, it summons a circle around you that heals you up.
I have that one too. Like, my dad used to have it, even though it didn't heal so much. Then I got it, and it healed way more, so now I'm the totem holder. Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, it's cool. As you level up, you get if you find an artifact that you've already found before, it'll be like a better version of it that heals more or whatever. But then there's also things like there's a llama that you can get.
The llama, the wolf, and the iron golem. I still haven't gotten the iron golem.
Me either. That one sounds cool though. But the llama will, like, run around and spit at enemies, and and then there's there's a fishing pole that you use, and it yanks people towards you, and so there's a really wide range of what those things do, and I think that keeps it fresh and fun.
They've done some interesting stuff with interpreting a lot of the Minecraft elements into this specific gameplay style.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of a bummer that there isn't any crafting or mining, but all that.
Not even for, like, exploration or anything.
No, it's just the level that's there. That's the level that you get. But they do. I mean, on the exploration front, they do a nice job of making it so there is more map to explore than you need for, like, to achieve your quest. There's plenty of other places you can go just to see what's there, and there is typically something there. Maybe it's a treasure chest, or maybe it's little vases that you can smash to get money. But little Zelda-like. But there's there's stuff out there. But yeah, you're stuck with the what you get in terms of the map. But the aesthetic is very Minecraft. The enemies are very Minecraft. Those freaking creepers. They
they're just like
blow me up every time.
Like, knock the back with, like, the bows or your artifacts, and they're just like
yeah.
It's hard to get away from them.
Yeah. So the aesthetic is very in keeping with Minecraft, but not the mining or crafting.
Right. Now it's like a Diablo-like Gauntlet, sort of that kind of roguelike adventure sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are the dungeons procedurally generated?
My impression is that they are set.
Okay.
But I could be wrong about that.
And do you go in solo, or do you get a party?
You can. I just played it by myself, but Gwen, it sounds like have you played multiplayer?
Yeah, you can play multiplayer.
Gotcha, but you don't get any NPC kind of allies.
No.
If you, like, play couch co-op or online.
Yep.
Well, you kind of get allies if you get, like, the pets.
Right.
Yeah. but my dad, we kind of did it like on like one level harder than it usually is, and wow, it's hard. My dad says it's harder than Diablo.
It is, yeah. That's a nice thing too, is you get to set the difficulty level. Like when you go, into each dungeon, you can bump it up, and it tells you, here's the sort of power rating we're expecting you to be at to survive this level. And I definitely also did that a couple of times. I set the level too hard for myself and totally got killed.
Yeah, and like the bosses at the end are kind of hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The final boss is real hard. There's a couple of bosses near the end that are real hard. Do you guys?
Yeah, like like in the Desert Temple, the nameless one.
Mhm.
Oh, I had so much trouble with that. Like the first time we went to the Desert Temple, he just shot an orb at me and it killed me when my health was full.
Oh, that's the worst.
And so the first rule against going the nameless one is to avoid the green orbs of death.
Definitely.
I feel like that's generally a good rule of thumb when facing orbs of death of any color.
One thing that they do in a game though is when you die in a level, you get 3 lives. So if you die, you respawn a little ways back, and you can proceed on. So you do get a few tries, and things will stay.
Okay, so you don't get to like go find your body and find your loot and stuff like that.
Right, and then if you die the third time, then it just kicks you back to your camp.
Oh, and when there's a multiplayer, when one person's down, you can revive the other person,
Oh, cool.
but you need to do it in a certain time limit, or the phantoms will get you.
Oh no.
And kill you, because they're basically, you can't hit them, they're just going, until you die. And with the other mobs there, it's hard.
Yeah. And do you share lives? Like, does the other person give up one of their lives for you? Or, like, do you both have 3 lives together?
You both have 3 lives, but if both of you die, your team lives go down.
Right.
And then you spawn closer. And then you go straight into battle.
So you have a bit more survivability.
And also, one of the most annoying mobs in the game are the witches. They're so annoying, I do not like them.
I don't even like them in the regular game.
Yeah, like...
Yeah, they're frustrating. Always throwing stuff.
But I have a question. So in Diablo, basically, like, you can't set how hard it is?
You
can't. I mean, at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, at the very beginning you can't, but then after you've played a little while, you can, and then you can set it. But depend
harder when you beat it.
Yeah, and you can keep going up and up and up. But it's not. I don't know. I think they're both good systems, just a little bit different in the way that they work.
I think this one's definitely a bit more friendly to its general audience that it's trying to target, to give you kind of a go at it to try again. And it's something I liked in oh gosh, not Darkstalkers. Darn it. I'm trying to remember the game.
Describe it to me, and the research desk will take care of it.
Yes, there we go. It's the one that's Joe Madureira, the comic book artist.
Darksiders. Darksiders.
Battle Chasers.
Yeah.
So in Battle Chasers, that's one thing I really loved about that game is whenever you went into one of the dungeons, you at the very start of it, you could set how difficult you want it. So it'd say, I think it's going to be a harder difficulty level, but you also get greater reward. So it sounds like this. Is that similar to what's being asked of you in this?
Yep, exactly. You get to go in and it tells you get, more, better loot if you take a higher difficulty and more experience and things like that. Yeah. And
I kind of like this way a bit better.
Yeah. And then once you kind
of can adjust as you go.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of difficulty levels, within, each dungeon. But then after you finish the game, you can actually go up to the next, the next tier of difficulties.
And so you kind of go back to it.
Yeah,
because I still haven't beat it, but when you do it, there's 3 different tiers. Default is it sounds like it's the default tier. Then there's Adventure, which is like the medium tier, and then Apocalypse, which sounds like what it is. It's literally Apocalypse. Everyone run. It's on the hardest difficulty.
Have you and your dad done Apocalypse yet?
No, we still haven't beat the default, even though the default itself, and if you put it on a higher level, is still hard.
Yeah. I'm on Adventure, but I'm in like the first couple of levels of Adventure because it's a fairly big jump in terms of difficulty from default to Adventure mode. So I'm having to.
And is it the kind of thing you need to grind more, or is it more of a gear question? Like, what's the balancing act like?
Yeah, that's what I'm having to grind for better gear, and a little bit experience, but really since all of your stats, basically, except for those enchantment points that we talked about, come from your gear. So the enchantment points are the only thing you get from leveling up. When you finish the default difficulty, you'll probably have you might have more enchantment points than you need. But as you move into adventure mode, you start getting gear that has better enchantments that require more enchantment points. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so it gives you some incentive, I guess, to get a few more levels. But really, mostly what I'm doing in there is looking for better gear.
Well, I know, Gwen, you were saying you and your dad got stuck at some point right now, so maybe like you have to go back to one of like the earliest dungeons and maybe go up to adventure and find better gear to tackle that boss or something, or?
Oh, I already beat that boss, even though the same thing as before, even with way more better gear. Avoid the green orbs of death because it almost KO'd me immediately.
Yep. What's the other?
So, anyone who's listening to this and about to go in the desert temple against the nameless one, the one rule is do not get hit by the orbs of green death.
Yep. Another nice thing, though, if you are grinding for gear, is that each dungeon actually tells you what specific kinds of gear you can find there. So if you really...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so if you want the piece of armor that summons a bat, you can look, at which levels have that as a piece of gear that can drop. And then just kind of grind on that level till you find a better one that you like. Yeah, so I really like that. Because
it's not quite as random as Diablo and stuff, and it doesn't require you farming like you would in an MMO.
Exactly. So that's nice.
And the something I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
An iron pickaxe is better than a diamond sword.
Yeah.
In terms of dealing damage?
Yeah, damage, which is super duper confusing.
Well, it is called Minecraft.
The diamond is the best sword. It's not even a diamond pickaxe. It's just an iron pickaxe.
So would the diamond pickaxe be even better then?
Maybe. Even though there's weapons that are not even in Minecraft. There's daggers. Those are not normally in Minecraft. There's hammers. And there's... Oh, and I forgot to mention the soul artifacts, which are really good.
The soul artifacts?
Yeah. Basically, you defeat monsters to gather souls, and you can put them in these strong attacks.
Yeah, I have a book. I can't remember what the name of it is, but as Gwen said, when you kill a monster, a soul drops, and it kind of comes to you, and it fills up a meter. And with my book, I use it's an artifact that I hit the button for it, and it makes an explosion around me using the souls.
It's called the harvester.
Oh, there you go. So the harvester book, and it makes an explosion around me of the souls. But there's other soul artifacts that do things like heal you up or shoot a powerful projectile or other things like that. So
it gives you cool special
because
abilities.
The ones that I have is the harvester, which is really good. The explosion one you're talking about, a corrupted beacon, which basically shoots a laser. And then this healing amulet, which I forget the name of, but it heals you, and it's really good.
Yeah, so those are really cool. And then Gwen mentioned the different types of weapons, like the hammers and things. That's another way that it really changes how you play. Right now, I'm using a spear, and it has a really long range. It's not.
Oh, the glaive. Is that what it's called?
Maybe.
Might be one of them.
Maybe.
Glaives are a polearm, so
yeah.
just change the name based on what it is.
But in any case, it lets you attack kind of a little farther away, and it hits, fairly hard, but it's kind of slow. There's also things like the daggers and sickles that are like like a dual wielding kind of thing,
So you're
that
a little quicker.
they're really fast, but they don't hit as hard. So, depending on what kind of play style you prefer, you might want that hammer that's super slow but hits real hard.
Which is really smart on their part, because I feel like it would have been doing this style of game a disservice if they just kept it to as vanilla Minecraft as possible, where the only real weapon you have is your sword. Like, everything does damage to mobs, but the sword is the best thing to fight with. But if all you had was just these simple melee weapons from the base game, so you're just whacking things with a shovel, it would have been funny on the one hand, but I think it's...
Whacking things with a shovel?
Yeah, I think it adds a bit more variety and fun and longevity to the playstyle of the game by them innovating on the weapons.
Yep.
Yeah, I still haven't found a trident, and that's vanilla. Like,
Yeah, I haven't-
Do a
So,
tridents
like,
now.
where's the tridents? Where are the tridents? Like, all these tools so far, all these weapons, there's no tridents.
I don't think I've seen one either. I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
Because vanilla Minecraft has swords, bows, and tridents. Are those the three main
and
weapons?
crossbows.
And crossbows.
and they do have they do have ranged weapons, but it's like different flavors of bows or crossbow, and they tend to fire pretty similarly.
Right.
With bows, you can charge up your attack, so it'll hit harder if you do that. The one thing that was also frustrating, I mentioned this in my review to me, is that sometimes there were some levels where I didn't get any ammo, and so your bows use ammunition, and if you run out, then you can't shoot your bow anymore or your crossbow.
Oh,
And
That's a bummer.
yeah,
wait. So there's actually this enchantment which is called Recycler. I'm pretty sure that what it's called. And when you do some damage or get hit, or just do something, you actually get arrows back, which is very useful.
That would be.
yeah. So that's an example of a way that really helps you out if you have that. And if you like to use your bow, that's another. There's an armor that's the hunter's armor that gives you more arrows every time arrows drop and other things like that.
Okay.
So
there's ways to optimize that.
yeah.
Now, sorry, question just about the enchantments I wanted to ask. Is it similar to base Minecraft where, like, you put your enhancement points? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, enchantment points, I think.
The enchantment points. So you put the enchantment points into your sword, or you put them into armor as well?
You
Yep.
can put them in armor too.
Okay, so when you put them in your weapons or your armor, do the enchantments it gives you, are they random like in the base game, or are they like do they come with enchantments on them and then?
Yeah, so what it'll do is
They're random.
at the beginning, when you pick up a piece of loot, it'll have one set of enchantments, and it will be like 2 or 3 random things. And if you picked up another of the exact same kind of sword, it would have 2 or 3 completely different random enchantments from the first ones. Although they are always things that like work with that item. Like you're not going to get the enchantment about adding more arrows on a sword, which is nice. And then as you progress through the game, then you start getting weapons or armor and things that have 2 sets of random enchantments. But in each case, when you pick one of the set, it locks you out of the other ones in that set. So you gotta
so choose wisely.
Yep, because you can't take it back. The only way is to destroy the weapon. So.
Oh, why do you want the flame aspects, but there's also thundering and sharpness that you can choose from? Oh, you can
Too
only
bad.
choose one of them.
Yep.
Oof. Now, what do you think about the story, Gwen?
So far, it's just like you're basically just stopping the Arch-Ellager's plans by completing the levels, because like in the swamp area, just like, okay, you need to basically stop these witches so the Illagers can't get powerful drakes so that make them unstoppable.
So it's a pretty simple story of just like go and defeat the big bad.
Yeah, and then kind of like that, and
Yeah.
then like there's another one where they like in the desert temple they're just like, okay, you better destroy the necromancer's wand so they can't spawn like the dead to help them.
Because I think that's what got the lowest score. I think.
Yeah. So the story is paper thin, a single sheet of paper. But that's okay. Like, that's not really the main hook of
It's
this
more of like a
genre.
gameplay loop.
Yeah.
They were going for like a deep, dark story, like again, like the Diablo trilogy, for example, or Torchlight or whatever.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get people into the fun.
And
I don't know about that. The first Diablo had about the same plot as that, actually, which was just big
Yep.
bad
That's fair.
in thing, go down, kill it.
Yep.
That's fair.
Very true.
That's true. They amped it up in Diablo 2.
Yeah, and this game, I think Minecraft Dungeons only takes maybe 10 or 12 hours to finish. So I think the point is, play this game, have fun with it, play it some more, play it with your friends. Yeah. And it succeeds in
Yeah,
that.
and also there's DLC.
That's true. There is DLC out now, and I have not tried it out. So unfortunately, can't say.
My dad has the Heroes DLC, which basically gets you more skins, and I'm pretty sure gets you the winter area
Okay.
that you get when you beat the game, but it's only coming soon because I don't think they did it yet.
Gotcha. It
Oh.
wasn't released yet, so he pre-bought the DLC.
Yeah. And we all got the skins from that pack.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I was going to ask you is how much customizability do you have of your hero, I guess, when you're making it?
Well, when you start your game, like, mostly the only thing you can customize at the start of the game is a skin. Like, they already pre-made the skin. There's, like, girls with pink hair.
And there's just like the one choice, or do you get to choose
Yep.
different hair colors and stuff? Or
There's just, like, basically just some characters which are already made by skin, so the hairs already with the character,
Oh,
so you
okay.
can't really pick the colors.
not
or
a
the
lot of
eye color.
flexibility.
Even though at least you're not stuck in Steve or Alex or the classic skins.
That's
Are they an
true.
option, though?
Yeah, they're an option.
And does your look change based on like your weapons and your armor and stuff like that?
Yeah, your armor changes your look, your weapons change your look.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of class system in this either, though.
No.
Right.
Even though you can, even though you can get just a random pet that just flies around, I chose a parrot, and my dad originally chose the baby chicken, and then the baby chicken was, when they walked around, it sounded like...
You was gonna hear that.
You can hear it a little bit.
And my dad kind of got annoyed, and then he just like, you know what, I'm just gonna get this baby chicken out here and get this parrot.
Yeah. My llama is always going.
Oh, the parrot and the baby chicken are kind of just for decoration that you get at the start of the game.
Oh, gotcha. So, what were you saying about your llama there?
So the llama like grunts every so often. It'll be like.
Oh yeah.
You're like, wait, is that an enemy?
Also, the
Nope.
bat squeaks.
Oh yeah, the bat squeaks.
Fits and everything. That's fun,
And the dog barks.
as they do.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what sound the iron golem would make.
Yeah, me either.
Stone cold stare.
Mm.
And so, Amy didn't want to play anything with you with this one, John?
I guess I didn't try having her play multiplayer with me, although we do have like 2 controllers, so we could have played couch co-op. But I think I'm trying to remember the time frame of things. If it came, I think this came out just before Animal Crossing.
Not the greatest
Right.
timing in the world.
Yeah, but I mean, but she's
Different flavors.
Amy's a huge Animal Crossing fan. So that's
Gotcha,
like all
so-
she's had, gaming time for.
She wants nothing else on her Switch.
Yep, exactly. She did play, like I said, she did play Pokemon Sword, but then once Animal Crossing came out, that's it.
It was dead to her.
Yes.
And I guess you can do couch co-op, but you can also do online multiplayer as well.
That's correct.
Okay, cool. So if we ever got a copy here, then I can play with Gwen.
Like, Minecraft Dungeons may have come up because, like, everyone's in Animal Crossing, and then they're just like, what? Animal Crossing doesn't have fighting? Well, play this Minecraft game.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. We're definitely living in a great time for having too many games, but it also means you can have whatever flavor you want at any point in time.
What consoles are you guys playing it on?
Oh, I played it on the PS4 with my dad.
No, I'm on Switch.
How was the performance of it on the Switch?
It's been been great. I haven't seen any kind of slowdown issues or anything, even though there's been sometimes a bunch of enemies on screen, and I have like my spear, glaive, whatever it is that I'm using right now, drops a poison cloud. So there's kind of effects going on, and but still, good performance, and I think
That's good.
Well, that's a nice switch.
Haha.
So, actually, about Minecraft Dungeons, when I played it with my dad, it actually froze.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did have a random.
Oh no.
Except there's something cool about it. But sadly, I thought I lost my unique. That's what they call legendary armor in that game. I had my unique weapons and artifacts from that level, and I'd probably lose it. But something cool about this game is that you keep it even if it froze.
So there's an auto save in there, I guess, maybe right when you pick it up.
Yeah. But sadly, our level, how far we got in the level, doesn't save.
Your progression was gone.
Yep.
That's a bummer.
Even though it's still cool that it keeps that armor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's definitely got a tight auto save too, right?
It does. Yep.
Tragic losses.
Here's an interesting thing
So
from...
if you're ever playing it with your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband, and your kids are just maybe
anybody really.
You have a toddler or just anyone
Some
just
stranger.
turns it off, it'll just probably save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. What were you saying, John?
Here's an interesting thing from the research desk. You guys were talking about procedural generation earlier. Yeah, all of the dungeons in this game are procedurally generated.
Okay.
But they are also handcrafted. Apparently, the developers built a special editor with vanilla Minecraft that they used to build all of the dungeons. So, every dungeon in the game, all of the rooms, all of the setups were actually built in Minecraft. And then they would be they'd be switching back and forth between first-person Minecraft view and the isometric view of dungeons to make sure that it looked good and everything was functioning properly. Yeah, and
so they're procedurally generated but pre-generated, is what you're saying?
Specific rooms are handcrafted. So as I understand it, you guys are playing it. There are you clear a number of rooms and then you enter into a landmark room. Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah. So you might there's one level where you're heading into the castle and you go into the town, and there's some stuff that's clearly a fixed layout that somebody built. But then
in between, it fills in the gaps with whatever.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
So
cool.
all of the assets were created with vanilla Minecraft, but with extra items. Apparently, they had extra brushes and special editing tools to make sure that everything was a little bit more detailed for this game. But it's they also had other things, they could raise the ground level with a single click or create larger structures much faster than normal, which is a relief because building things in Minecraft takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you've got some special mods and stuff for it, it can take a haul to build some of the bigger stuff. And that's, again, the mod stuff really only comes to PC, which is one thing I was going to say. I do hope we get some cross stuff back over the other way, because, again, without mods, so people who are playing on consoles, you don't have access to the world of wonders that modding on the PC Minecraft can bring you. So, sure, someone has made, daggers and hammers and stuff like that for PC Minecraft, but, you don't get in the console. So I'm wondering if they'll pull some of that back over there, or some of these special creative kind of tools that were brought into making the levels in this. That'd be really neat.
Yeah.
Frankly, I think it'd be a great idea if they were looking for DLC in the future to release this particular editor for Minecraft Dungeons so people could create their own landmark rooms and build their
That'd
own.
Be super cool.
That seems just like a no-brainer. Maybe they'll do it for
like Link's Awakening.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they'll do it for the sequel. It sounds like this is a very interesting game and there's a lot of interesting mechanics, but what I'm hearing is that there is a lot of room for expansion of, story obviously, but also of mechanics. And it seems like that could be something they're headed towards with Minecraft Dungeons 2 in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good foundation to build on, and they could do some good stuff with it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's something that I'm happy about. The music. Like, I'm glad that it has unique music and it's just not randomly the same sometimes. I like how the levels so far have unique music and it's just not like in Minecraft where it's just all peaceful and it's just like da 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 da.
They got some good action music in there and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, like I'm just glad they don't have only peaceful music in it. Like I'm glad they have sometimes imitating music or
Intimidating
intimidating music, and like not only just peaceful rap music, but like
it would be a really weird
Yeah,
tone
like-
shift if it was just peaceful all the time.
yeah, like it'll be funny if there's this intense scene in Desert Temple that you're raiding, and like an enderman comes and endermans are really scary, and then it just play da 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 da.
Yeah, no kidding.
I was talking about that last week with Murder by Numbers, where you'd be in the middle of like this really dramatic moment, like you have a gun pointed at you, and then you'd go into a pick cross puzzle, and the music would just turn into like a bouncy, happy kind of thing, and it just killed the tone of it. Like really was just jarring.
Yeah, just because you're doing a puzzle, it doesn't make that gun go away.
Yeah, because like in Minecraft, like normally in Minecraft, if like you're surrounded by endermans and monsters, that you're just like, no, I'm gonna die, just because, and you're burning a village down, and in Minecraft it is like, boom, 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 dun, 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 and then it's just like, and all the villagers like, because like the village is burning down, and then the music is still peaceful. Pillagers are raiding a raid, and the music is just still peaceful. And it's just like...
It'd be a lot.
Yeah. Pillaging generally isn't happy and bouncy.
No, exactly.
Right.
But yeah, before we move it along, because we gotta ship Gwen out of here. She's gonna pumpkin on us. Do you have any other final thoughts on this game? Or do you think it's gonna get a second one, Gwen?
I hope it gets a second one. I'm enjoying it.
You haven't beaten it yet, though, right?
Not yet.
Do you think you're close?
Yeah, I'm getting really close. Now I just need to go into Forge, and then I'll probably go into last level.
Oh, cool. So you'll probably might even beat it this week at your dad's.
Yeah. Even though out of both of the games, Pokemon and Minecraft, Pokemon, I think I give it 4 Master Balls out of 5. I really like it. And, like, just the only thing is that there's, like, not, like, even though it's really good, I just kind of wish that, why did I give it only 4? I give it 5 Master Balls out of 5.
Well, if you had a problem, then it makes sense to have 4.
No, even though, like, the only thing that, like, I had a problem with was me not understanding something. So,
We'll say 4.5 then.
4.5. 4.5 out of 5 Master Balls.
There you go.
And Minecraft Dungeons is pretty good. The story is, and then, like, I mostly like it, so it's, how do I say this one? Diamonds. Perfect.
It's diamonds, sure.
Yeah, it's...
I mean, you can still rate it at Pokeballs, whatever.
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly. We were thinking about moving over to that for the new RPG fan site.
Yes, right?
For all the
So
games.
how many diamonds does this get?
This
Out of 5.
gets,
It's a tough rating.
yeah, because, like, I like it, even though there's, like, some problems with it.
So what do you think?
I think I'm gonna give it a 3.5
That's fair.
That's pretty
3.5,
close
yeah.
to what I said.
out of 5
Actually,
Pokeballs.
it's exactly, you gave it 3.5 Pokeballs out of 4 on the site.
Well, yeah, out of 4.
Or
yeah.
5 out of 5 on the site. That's what I meant.
That's the thing.
And Joe
It's just
gave...
above average.
Yeah, and Joe gave Sword and Shield 4 Pokeballs out of 5.
There we go.
So for other
As you
people,
go
that would
around
be
the math averages.
an 80 for Sword and Shield, and
No, I gave it
4.5.
4.5.
No, but he was saying what Joe did, because Joe did the review.
yeah, Joe gave it an 80, and he liked it a lot. And Joe, I can never say C-Z-O-P?
Chop.
Chop?
Chop, yeah.
Chop. Okay, yeah, gave it an 80.
Chop till you drop.
Well, that's good.
Cool.
Well, Gwen, thank you for being on the episode, joining us today.
Oh, could I ask Gwen a question real quick before she goes?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to show her something else too, so
Oh,
do
go.
that first.
Okay, I was just curious. Gwen, are there any games coming up in the future that you're excited about?
Any games coming up in the future?
Or that just came out?
Or that just came out? Something you're excited to play?
What's something from like the recent like Nintendo Directs or anything like that you saw? Or from all the I mean, we watched a bit of the trailers and stuff like that for like the PS5 and things like that too.
Oh, it's been overwhelming.
Oh, yeah, so I'm very excited for the new Horizon Zero Dawn game.
Heck yeah.
Looks so beautiful.
It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited for that like robot cat game called Stray, which is cool. Like, it looks like a cool concept, which is the world is basically robots and they're just like the stray cats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious how that's going to play out. Here, and then before you go, Gwen, Peter shared his Espeon, so I wanted to see it.
Wait, is that a shiny Charizard? You thought they had a shiny Charizard.
I do have a shiny Charizard, yeah.
You got a shiny Wailord too.
What? So far, I only have a shiny, what's it called again? What's that?
The Glaceon?
No, like in Sword and Shield, I have...
Well, that's right, you did catch one.
Yeah, like, it's like the one that came in Sun and Moon. It's like that mushroom guy, and it's like the final evolution. And, like, it's, like, looks like a creepier version of Toad, and it's a grass fairy.
Oh, yeah, and there's a bunch of them around the fairy town.
Oh, is that a Morlo?
No, I think that's the first evolution. What's it called again?
Yeah, it's like Shroominja or something weird. It sounds like a...
Shroominja!
I don't think it's that, but it sounds...
It
like
should be.
It's like Shroomobi or something. Crud. What are those? I'm now blanking on even just mushroom names in general, because it was based off of like the mushrooms that you get in ramen and stuff.
Oh, the shiitake? Yeah, hang on.
Shiitake, yeah. It was based on that.
Yeah, it's either, I think it is Morlo. Morlo or Shinotic.
Shinotic.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's the one.
And, like, even though it's not the blinkiest shiny ever, like, they basically took away the pink and made it yellow and brown. It's still cool that it had a shiny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I got a shiny Corviknight.
Oh, yeah, Greg got a shiny Corviknight. Lucky.
It's the only shiny I've ever gotten.
Yeah. But also, I have something to say to the people who are listening to this.
Okay.
It's a Pokemon challenge!
Another one.
Okay. But this challenge is I want you to attempt to make 7 Chakra Pokemon. From the 7 chakras.
I see, okay. So, like, Pokemon inspired by the chakras?
Yeah, Pokemon inspired by the chakras.
Well, we'll see who does it.
And if any you do it, like, maybe, like, put it in, like, an RPG fan video? I'm not sure. Like,
whatever. They can email me.
Yeah, they can email my...
We'll figure it out.
Just email RPG fan.
It's all good.
Okay. But thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Gwen.
Bye, Gwen.
Thank you, Gwen.
Thanks.
Thanks for being on.
There's been obviously a lot of Nintendo Direct style announcements the last few weeks because of the cancellation of E3, and it seems like everyone sort of embraced the Direct type style of presentation. So Nintendo once again pioneering the new form of entertainment and presentation for video games. But what do you guys think of them? Like, have you seen a whole lot of them over the last few weeks? What ones were successful? What ones were disasters? And why the heck hasn't Nintendo made one yet?
It's hard to say. There's a rumor that there's a Nintendo Direct coming soon, but it's only rumor at this point. Nothing's been confirmed.
This supposed to be something maybe this morning.
Yeah. Well, and we covered a bunch of these little miniature presentations for news, and I mean I think it was great.
Yeah, you were busy.
Cool.
Yeah, we really were busy. Oh my god. But it was interesting because a lot of smaller indie titles got like highlights that they wouldn't normally have been able to get. They kind of would have been lost in the noise. And I appreciate that. That's interesting. I really liked the PS5 presentation. That was super cool. It got me hyped for the console. It had a lot of cool game announcements and reveals. I might be alone in that I really liked the design of the console.
I think it looks cool.
I don't mind it so much.
I think everyone complains about everything until they see it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Then they sometimes complain more, but at least they are basing it off something.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I don't think there were really any. The Inside Xbox presentation thing was kind of lame, I guess. But I don't know. Microsoft's the way Microsoft advertises their games never does anything for me. So
Ubisoft had a bit of a disaster a few days ago.
yeah, Ubisoft, what the hell, guys?
Like ignoring the fact that they've let's just say they've not had the best press the last couple of weeks. The whole
Lots of abuse allegations.
Yeah, but like their idea of let's bribe people into watching our show by offering them a free copy of Watch Dogs 2. And then our servers will crash so no one can log in and no one knows if they're getting the game or not. No one was talking about the games they announced or highlighted. If you went on Twitter and typed in Ubisoft, all you saw was people going, "What the hell? Where's my game?"
Absolutely true. Yep. I didn't hear a single thing about the games that they talked about on the thing just about Watch Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot there was even an event until like after the fact when like some of the stories started trickling out, because nobody was like watching it.
Nope. And to be fair, we did get it. Like I got an email a couple of days ago that said, I don't really want to play Watch Dogs, but I was like, hey, free game, cool. And they did send it out, so it's in my library now. So they did fulfill their promise to everyone. But for a while there, no one knew what was happening.
Yeah, it's weird that they just poorly planned that whole thing, and you're right, like it totally was a bribe. I guess that's where their way of smoothing things over in some weird attempt.
That Paper Mario stream was also kind of interesting. Not that it was a bad thing or anything, but like when they go and tease an announcement like that, and then it turns out to be, I mean, a Bakugan game. I'm not mad about that or anything, but it's like, yeah, what did you expect?
I think that I'm not sure about this, but I think that sort of thing can be chalked up to just like a junior level marketing person who is told, okay, we're doing Paper Mario, and then we're announcing something else immediately afterwards. So make a tweet about that. And the tweet gets sent out, and then everyone loses their mind, and then they try to clarify it, and it gets worse, and then they release the game, and everyone's like, what the? Really? All that for nothing? But in reality, it was just a tweet. There was no real weight to it. It was just like
No, people brought in their own expectations before the event happened, and I know we're all starved for content these days, but
are we?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of stuff, and a lot gets lost in the noise.
That's fair.
And with everybody still spending more time at home than they might have before a few months ago, people were probably spending more time playing games and getting through more games than they were. So even a normal amount of releases, and summer always is. My memory is that summer is a slower time for releases. But speaking of Paper Mario, that's out now. I pre-ordered it like right away because I loved some of the older Paper Mario, like Thousand Year Door is one of my top games ever, and now I'm like, do I even want to like start playing it? I'm so nervous that it's just going to not be a good experience after getting burned the last couple times. Even though I didn't think those games were like Sticker Star and Color Splash, they weren't the worst games I've ever played, but they definitely weren't what I wanted out of a Paper Mario game. And I think
it's going to be a hard one for them because everyone basically just wants more Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, I should have bought Bug Fables based on Alana's review.
Alana loves it.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever get like remasters of that, even like the original Paper Mario or Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I feel like that would print them money, but
they could be testing the waters with
a ton of those.
Yeah,
they could be testing the waters with the. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I replayed Thousand Year Door not too long ago, and it still looks fantastic. Just that style and that type of graphics, they don't really get.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. They age really well, so it'd be tough to see a remaster. But I mean, like I'd probably still buy it.
They might. I mean, what Nintendo's doing right now, rumor has it that they're releasing Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy 1 in like an all-star, a Mario All-Stars type collection. this Christmas. That's the rumor. We'll see what happens if the Nintendo Direct comes out, and if it's
all remastered.
Yeah, if it is a huge success, we might actually start seeing that, like Nintendo just packaging some of their older games in series together and releasing it in like little bursts of an all-star package. If there's,
You've only really gotten some like Zelda HD remasters, but aside from that,
Mm.
I mean, they did spruce up the Metroid Prime trilogy, or no, they just bundled them together.
they added
Motion controls.
yeah, but that's about it as I understand it.
Yeah, they didn't really up the graphics. Not that from the GameCube to the Wii was a huge jump.
From what I've read, and I've been looking at some reviews because I'm not reviewing it, so I'm was checking it out. The general consensus seems to be it's good, it's fine. It apparently does really shortchange the RPG elements of it, though.
Yeah, which is par for the course for modern Paper Mario, unfortunately. Although
Yeah.
it just seems like there's less of an excuse for that when, like, I don't know. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, but I don't think this is what fans want. Like,
Right. Every other game is adding more RPG to to their mechanics. Why take it out?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be like covering FIFA 2022 soon.
and I don't understand their rationale about Mario spin-offs where it's like, oh, we want things to be more homogenous and less interesting than the mainline games.
They
Like,
keep oscillating back and forth. Like, which one's the RPG? Is it the Mario and Luigi, or is it the Superstar stuff, or is it going to be Paper Mario? They kind of keep dipping in and pulling out. It's weird.
and unless they announce something like from a new developer, like Mario and Luigi is dead right now, so we don't have a competing series. This would be a perfect time to bring back classic Paper Mario, but I don't understand. What people liked about those games is that they felt like they fit in the Mario universe, but they were still different, you know?
It was definitely a different way to look at things, like from Super Mario RPG right through. It's a different way of telling those Mario stories, but it fleshes out the world that we don't really get much. Like, the most fans in the past got of the Mario world was watching the cartoons and the Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
Don't forget
Mileage
the movie.
Oh yes.
Can we please forget about the movie?
No, John Leguizamo is a treasure.
He is.
It even made it into Steph Sabidlo's artwork.
Yeah, that was awesome. I
For those
I
who
tell
don't
you,
know, Steph does album art for, is it Retronauts?
yep.
Yeah.
It is Retronauts, okay. And one of them was like a Toad focused, and she threw in some nods to the movie, so it's just a great little piece of art.
So here's
I'm
what.
just amused at how much Nintendo just desperately is trying to forget that thing exists, and whenever somebody brings it up, it's like it's like the Picard meme with his head in his hand. That's basically Nintendo when it comes to that movie.
Yeah. So I'm thinking back. We're talking about like remasters and things like that. What I would love to see, would be super fun, would be Paper Luigi, Thousand Year Door, because throw out that whole game. Luigi, like every time you see Luigi at each new chapter, he's back in town and he's probably got some new companion with him, and he's telling you about this adventure that he went on that's very similar to yours but different in fun ways. I would love to like play that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If they ever have another year of Luigi, that'd be a great release.
Oh yeah, it would.
It's so great.
Yeah, I hope someone's pitched it.
Yeah, I mean, Paper Mario and the Mario and Luigi series are both responsible. They're not primarily responsible, but they're both like Luigi would not have a character if it wasn't for Paper Mario.
True.
Like that character had was originally in the Paper Mario series and then developed into Luigi's Mansion and then developed into Mario and Luigi, but Luigi was really not a developed character up until that point. The RPGs were where he developed his the lesser brother, Green Stash.
Yeah, and it's so weird that he didn't even get like an honorable mention, even in Super Mario RPG.
There's a game I would like to see rebooted, or if not rebooted, re-released in like a remaster kind of thing. But that'd be too tricky because it's Square.
I'm sure there's a lot of rights, but at the same time,
it was so
Nintendo
good.
and Square have really made nice again. I mean, we just got all the PlayStation 1 classics on the Switch after all, so It's not in the realm of impossibility.
I know, but if they really wanted to just sidestep the whole Paper Mario and Luigi controversy, make Mario RPG 2.
Sure.
I would play it. I think everyone would play it. That game is amazing.
Yeah, even today, critically, or I think universally acclaimed. And, I mean, I'm sure they like money, so...
It plays well.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do like about what they're doing with Mario over the last few years is they've kind of created... We were talking about all the different versions, but they actually have created sort of a Mario multiverse, where it's like you have the Mario and Luigi Mario, you have the Paper Mario, you have the regular Mario from the 3D games, you have the cartoon show, and they really seem to be slightly embracing this concept that I guess sort of like Disney did back in the day, where they can just dump Mickey or Donald or Goofy into whatever scenario, and that scenario will be completely separate from the rest of the world. And Nintendo's sort of been doing that with Mario the last few years. They could
I've been playing Tennis Aces, and it's got its own thing going on where suddenly like everybody's super into tennis, and this is like, will I start seeing this in the next Mario Kart? Well, there'll be like a Mario Kart storyline.
Yeah,
they've done that with like Mario Party in the past a bit too.
They should do that though. They should just do a flat out like Super Mario crossover with all of the different
Mario
Marios
multiverse
together. Yeah, like you guys, I don't know when you guys, years ago, did you guys watch Homestar Runner?
Yeah.
I sure did.
Yeah, there was an episode, I think it was episode 100, where Strong Bad goes in and he has an adventure with all of the alternate Strong Bads that they've introduced over the years.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want with Mario.
Come on, Nintendo. Use your powers for awesome.
I mean, it worked for Sonic Generations.
True.
So they just did a Mario Generations where you jump through the different gameplay types, and this would be a good place too for them to acknowledge their successes and their foibles. I mean, if there's a level where you played through, I mean, Jono will probably find this out pretty quick, but I'm sure there was a video game adaptation of the Super Mario Brothers movie.
There was not.
Oh, good.
No, they avoided it like the plague.
There was no Mortal Kombat, the movie, the video game, in this case. No Street Fighter. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say. Street Fighter, the game, the movie.
Video games.
Man, that was an era.
Yeah, video game movies in the 90s were a special time for movies.
Hey, the Mortal Kombat one holds up.
Mortal Kombat. I actually just rewatched that recently. It popped up on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or something, and I was like, why not?
It's like, is it terrible? Yes, it's Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
What did you expect?
But it
it's
gave
fun
people what they
terrible.
I
wanted
read
out of
the
it.
Mortal Kombat novel. It was actually quite compelling, if I recall.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge.
Honestly, I think that 70% of the success of Mortal Kombat was just the theme song.
Bum, 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 bum,
I
bum.
I have the soundtrack on cassette. I think I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
If I recall correctly. Or maybe on CD. Either way, I owned the soundtrack when I was a young Greg.
Well,
but back to what you were asking about the
directs
and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I liked what Steam kind of did with its Summer of Gaming, so it was called. But just having various streamers and stuff sample the wares and talk about it, I thought that was a nice way to bring it to the fans and get more hands-on with it without all like the legal speak and the corporate marketing speak.
I agree. It's going to be a sad day when E3 and a lot of these gaming shows are not just delayed but canceled, because I think that a lot of video game companies are going to get a lot more mileage out of this. They don't need to pay as much, for one thing. They don't need to pay for travel. They don't need to pay to get the space. And they can just get more people playing their games because they can release short demo slices of them rather than have to, like, people standing in line for hours to play 5 minutes of a title. Everyone can play it. I think that's really, really valuable to these video game companies, and I don't think that E3 is going to give them what they used to get.
It's going to be hard, and I can understand a lot of convention centers are going to be sweating a bit.
I could imagine they're currently sweating like crazy because, everything's canceled. Obviously, everything's canceled. That's been our lives for the last few months.
I was going to say they could probably reduce, or I mean, even if they could probably reduce the amount of swag that they make and deliver for like an E3, and deliver it like to the fans instead. Say, hey, we're having a giveaway related to our announcement of this game. Here's T-shirts for the first 100 people or whatever, or and so yeah, a lot of ways that they can save in the new environment.
Well, yeah, even with just shipping all those T-shirts out, it's probably still cheaper than building a whole booth, hiring people to supply it.
Absolutely.
Bringing all the swag that they want to make for not just the first 100, but like for thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
I think the price difference would still work out in their benefit.
I think so too, and they get more reach. I mean, what could happen in the next few years is that those E3, Tokyo Gaming Show style conventions will start just going away because people won't be joining them, and then in a few years, because everything comes back, they'll probably start doing like boutique conferences and things like that, where sort of what E3 was when it first started, like for journalists, just so journalists can talk to game creators and that sort of thing. And the online component will give consumers what they always wanted from E3, which is a chance to play and see the games.
Yeah, and I think that's the part of me that feels that the convention as a whole won't go away, because there is a certain magic about it. Like, I love the experience of going to PAX per se. Like, there's just such a sense of community and the vibe that brings that you obviously cannot get from just watching a stream and such. I mean, there's a certain magic that I feel when I watch movies that are on TV, for example. I just get this weird vibe that I'm like watching the movie with other people, even though I'm not. But it's just like, it's on live TV. It's a weird thing. So there's a bit of that when you're watching a live stream. But it's a wholly different experience when you get to hear things right from the developers. You get hands-on right there in the moment. There's no chance of like signal lag or whatever from internet displays and such. So
I actually would not mind if a lot of video game companies would start getting away from the Apple-style presentations that they've been doing the last few years, because I just don't think they're having the same impact. I don't think they're entertaining, for one thing. And we could see that this summer, like with the streams that really hit it out of the park, it would just be like game, 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 game. And the ones that didn't would have like game, then lots of conversation, and then maybe it would be very, very slow. And I think that the pacing will increase in the next year or so. And this was their first year doing it. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that next summer we're going to get maybe a few less of these, but I think that we're probably going to get almost the unequal number of game announcements through direct style things. And I think that it's here to stay. I think it's one of those things that COVID has brought about that a lot of people are going to go, oh, this is better.
Yeah, it's interesting to see, some of the things that haven't gone over as well. Also, like, I think it was the Xbox group that had like a big presentation that was really just, let's talk really in depth about the tech that's in this box that you're buying, and that didn't go over very well.
Some people are super into that,
but yeah, that's a thing that you would see like a presentation on at like an E3 or something like that, where the journalist could go and watch that, and then they're like, okay, now this gives me stuff that I can report on back to my people in a way that they're going to find interesting. But yeah, most people weren't into that, and they, so it'll be interesting to see how that kind of transitions as well, because there are still people who are interested in that. They got to find a better way to market, when they're going to do a presentation like that.
Yeah.
I think that
one thing
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Jono.
I was going to say that I think that in terms of innovating during COVID, the company that hit it out of the park more than anybody is not a video game company at all. It's Apple. Their WWDC, their virtual WWDC this year, as far as I can tell, was an incredible success. Their presentation was brilliant. It was incredibly well produced, and it replicated the feel of their live Apple-style announcements, like that entire video thing where they announced the new Apple chips and everything. It felt like that presentation. And then for the rest of the week, they had smaller webinar type style things where small groups of people could sign up for them. And I think that might be where it's going. Like, maybe people could have a company, or if all the companies were to get together into an E3 type thing, have a big presentation right off the top, and then you could split it off into smaller presentations where people can go to them if they want. And I mean, we'd have to go to all of them, but because we have all summer, and you guys have been doing an incredible job of the news, because oh my god, it's been a waterfall.
Well, that's what I wanted to actually ask you, Peter.
Yeah.
How do you feel this year has gone as far as news coverage coming to you and the team compared to E3 physical?
I don't know. What was helpful about E3 was that we had sort of a centralized hub for everything. Like it was stuff like people who were on the show floor had their previews to write. They got kind of that first-hand coverage. All the announcements, the major announcements, were all kind of in a couple quick bursts, and it was easier to plan for. With this, it's been a lot more sporadic and a lot more random, and you have a lot more events that are like multi-days, like the New Game Plus Expo and stuff like that. So I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. At least for this one, we've managed to have, like I said earlier, a lot of smaller titles really got more time in the spotlight, which is nice.
And yeah, I guess that's one thing that's going to be lacking from this is the preview angle of it, because we've definitely, as a consumer audience, have gotten to a place where we're all getting the news at the same time as the news now. Like with the big presentations at E3, they're all being streamed, so we're not waiting for news outlets to report at the end of the day to us. We can all just see it. But if the conventions go away, us as journalists and such don't get our hands on with the preview materials, so fans aren't getting to hear that, and we're all just again getting all the information at the same time. So it doesn't really make us moot, but it still takes away some of the necessity of the journalist coverage of these events.
I don't know. I never have time to watch them while they're happening personally, so I really appreciate the coverage.
That's a good angle.
I also think that I might be wrong about this, but it'd be an interesting place to explore for game companies doing their releases. People love Let's Plays. People love watching streamers on Twitch. This is it's a major component of the industry now. And eventually what it could move into, especially with, better streaming of video games, stream it to journalists, and then journalists can play it, and they can post this on their site of playing the game. And that's been happening a lot on YouTube, for example. Outside Xbox has been doing a lot of that, where it will just be that's actually what Cyberpunk 2077 was doing. A lot of outlets would just release the first 50 minutes of the game with their commentary over top of it.
And I guess you'd have to be going into a bit of a bidding war, I guess, to try and get some titles from someone or whatever.
Yeah, but that's a matter of access. That's just life as a journalist. Yeah.
Either way, it's interesting to see what's going to be on the horizon this time next year when we may or may not be allowed to do this all again.
That's very true.
Yeah, right now, just got to hold out till we hopefully get a vaccine that works, and then we'll be able to resume real life, hopefully.
Well, theoretically. I mean, it's going to, I don't know.
Yes.
I think people, when they hear the word vaccine, they think it's going to be like, a vaccine's going to be created, and then we can all go back to regular life the next day. It's like, no, It's going to take a while to produce the vaccine. It's not going to be like someone flying over the city with a crop duster, just with people breathing it in. It's going to take a little while. If only.
You mean the end of Resident Evil Vendetta?
What do you mean?
Tying it back to video games.
I'm not even... No, it's one of the bad CGI movies. That's literally how they end it, is like crop dusting a virus that cures the town of zombies. So like the zombie people are like missing arms and bites and all that, but all of a sudden they're turning back into people. It's like, did nobody think this through?
Just people dying of hemorrhaging.
Well, I did hear...
Yeah, right? Like...
I did hear some good news that the Umbrella Corporation is in third stage testing for their vaccine, and I suspect that it's going to go great.
Oh yeah, there is absolutely nothing that can go wrong with that.
No, Umbrella and human testing always goes well.
They have a strong history of highly effective products.
Yep, and building a secret labyrinthine science laboratories beneath elementary schools. What?
Unconventional lock design?
On that note, all I can say is stars.
Look, all I'm saying is that it was a very bold choice to have every new employee memorize the Moonlight Sonata during the orientation.
Culture is one of their core values.
I like it.
Oh God, let's not.
I think we can turn this thing into the parking lot and put it in the park, and this analogy's getting away from me. Anyways, hey, thank you very much, gentlemen, for being on here. And again, shout out to Gwen.
Please thank Gwen for us. That was wonderful.
It was really fun.
Super fun.
Fans have been clamoring for more Gwen, so I can't understand why. It's not like she's entertaining or anything.
It's not just that. It's actually kind of nice to have somebody who's the core audience for these games.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's such a different perspective. And I was interested, what her take on, like, for example, the Minecraft dungeon story was going to be compared to how John took it. And it's interesting that even she's at a point where she's like, yeah, it was pretty
Mm-hmm.
So it's, if it's for the target audience, then amp it up on the next one, I guess.
Yeah, come on, guys.
But she was definitely on board with the Isle of Armor, so that's not shocking. She will not talk about Pokemon. Just like unsolicited. We'll be like at dinner talking about something randomly. She's like, oh, but this thing in Pokemon. No relation to anything. Such a kid thing to do, and I love it.
We could use a dose of that in our politics, to be frank.
Quite honestly.
Just in Congress, somebody like Mitch McConnell is talking about something, talking about relief for COVID, and then, I don't know.
Oh, McConnell's not talking about relief for COVID.
What's your favorite of the first 151 Pokemon? We just need to know.
What starter type do you usually pick?
Because that's what we really need in Pokemon, partisanship.
I think Mitch identifies as a Garbodor.
Shots fired.
Oh, man.
No, that's the place to stop the podcast.
Yep. Listeners, if you want to start converting members of Congress into Pokemon, you can email me at podcast@rpgfan.com and share all your thoughts on that. We have tons of episodes of Random Encounter for you to listen to, but we also have other podcasts. John, do you want to tell them about the other podcasts?
Yeah, sure. We have one that has not been updated in a while, but there are rumblings, there are rumors that Rhythm Encounter might be coming back at some point in the future.
Instruments may be getting tuned?
Yeah, and I think that's just going to be awesome when it happens. Whenever it happens. We don't know. We're not Captain Loop here or anything.
If it happens.
We're not Captain Loop. Greg and I, we're just hired guns. We have nothing to do with the podcast.
There's been other projects in the works recently, so...
There has. If people hadn't noticed that the website's going to be down at the end of the month for a brief period, and then we'll have a whole new review of fun stuff, so that's cool coming up. But yeah, other podcasts. Who else does podcasts? Peter, do you want to tell them about another podcast?
You can always listen to Retro Encounter. We are playing Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga on it now.
Well, let's talk about
Sweet.
Yeah, right? We've come full circle. It's a lot of fun. I've enjoyed playing that game again.
So good.
We've got a lot of really exciting things in the works for sure. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Nice. And then the last one, Tucker, take us away. What's the last podcast?
Phoenix Edge podcast, of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with Hat and Eric.
Yep. Good bunch of guys.
But yeah, they're good peoples. Hat. There we go. Hat just grabbed some coverage for Crosscode for us, so we'll have a video review of that coming up whenever somebody stops doing podcasts and going on vacations and finishes Crosscode in his review.
Well, hey,
John,
I would have written it if we haven't gone like 20 minutes over. God.
Right? Here we are.
Yeah.
Any rate, thank you so much, everyone, for being on this podcast. Thank you, everyone, as always, for listening to us. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and rpgfan.com for all the coverage of all this ridiculousness that we've covered. Thanks to Peter and his team of wonderful news people who give us all that coverage. So good job, sir. Yeah, you do. And there's a lot to cover, so you're doing good. And then, of course, watch our Twitch streams. Yeah, I think it's everything. That's everything we do. We're busy peoples.
On that note, bye.
Later.
Ciao.
Bye.